Hello, with me today are the principals of Marine City High School and St. Clair High School, Mr. Ron Miller and Miss Sherri Becker. Thank you for being on East China today.
It's our pleasure.
How about we start out with telling us a little bit about yourselves. Mr. Miller?
I have been privileged to be at St. Clair High School basically forever. At least that's what Sherri Becker would say. I came in 1991 as the assistant principal, and I have been an administrator, I've been the principal in the building since 2003, but I've been an administrator since 1991. Married, 4 kids that all went through East China schools. Just a happy member of the community.
What do you like to do for fun? What do you do I know you don't get a lot of downtime, but what do you do in your downtime?
I like live music, concert venues of all size. I like to go for walks, and I'm a reader.
Oh, great, thank you. Miss Becker?
Principal of Marine City, 2nd year. Before that, I was at St. Clair Middle School as assistant principal for 2 years. Taught down in South Lake for 18 years. And
what did you teach?
I taught middle school, language arts, social studies, reading recovery, journalism, a little bit of everything. Been a lifelong member of St. Clair, graduated from St. Clair, and currently have 2 girls going through East China.
Wonderful, thank you. I also graduated from St. Clair High School, so I've spent 4 years as a student at St. Clair High School, and I was the principal at Marine City High School for 4 years, so equally split. I got 4 and 4 years now.
Nicely balanced.
Speaking of the schools, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that are happening in each of your buildings, and I know we could be here all afternoon with all the things that you have going on and all the opportunities that are available for our high school students, but just highlight a few of them for us if you could, Sherri.
We had some exciting news at Marine City as we came back this past fall. Marine City received the honor of being recognized by the U.S. News and World Report as being one of the best high schools in the nation. We were ranked 76. So that was a pretty big deal for us, as well as both schools being on top of the county for SAT scores.
Yeah, I believe we're 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yes.
1 and 2.
Which is typically the case.
Yep, we appreciate those efforts.
Also, we both had bands placed in Division I ratings for our MSBOA band competition last week that was held at East China Stadium.
It's the second time that we've
I was gonna say
co-hosted
that
that, which has really been a great community event.
Yes. We were there, and it was packed
Beautiful
and
night
fun and a beautiful night and
It's a really great show.
great performances.
Coming up events, the exciting things, we have a Mariner drama this week, happening Friday night, 10 o'clock at the PAC. The play is called Trap. It's a mystery.
It looks a little scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock Friday if you're not doing anything, or 7 o'clock Saturday evening.
And didn't they push back those start times? St. Clair did it last weekend as well to honor the football game. That's the last weekend was Marine City's homecoming, and this weekend honoring St. Clair's football game.
St. Clair will kick off at 7, and then the play at 10.
Lots to do. Lots to do. Great. Thank you.
Well, we're in the middle of homecoming silliness right now. In fact, as we're taping this, the parade will take place in about an hour and a half. So our heroes, our superheroes and villains week will be coming to a conclusion soon.
That was the theme.
That was the theme this year, which is fun. One of the ways that they maximize participation, and I believe that Marine City does the same thing, is in addition to having activity days, kids can participate just by wearing a particular color. They don't need to get dressed up. But the more kids get involved, the more points they get, and the competition ratchets up. It's a lot of fun.
And you do it by class, so freshman, sophomore, junior, senior.
Yes, and I'm proud to say that the teachers won yesterday.
Did they really?
How about that?
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. And both of you do a fabulous job of posting pictures throughout the week, both in your newsletters and on Facebook. And I always feel like I'm a part of your building or in your building when I see the pictures. Because the last picture I saw from St. Clair High School, you were dressed in, was it black? Was there a day that all the, So it's cool. I appreciate you guys doing that. And and really look forward to seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Well, we both have an academic support program for some of our younger or more needy students. Different names, but similar themes, and both of them have gotten off to tremendous successes. And I think that the thing that resonates the most in just brief conversations that we've had is not only are we helping the students that are in need, but our more successful, or I guess the helper students, really are benefiting from this as well. They're reflective stories that they're telling us, and we're only a month into this. These are like life-changing events where they're looking at the world through somebody else's eyes, somebody who needs their assistance, and they're needed now. And they certainly have a better appreciation for some of the structural, traditional things that we have in place, which really help kids. They're mile markers.
Right.
And sometimes they get in the way when it's an individual, but they're appreciating the fact that culturally that these are some of the reasons why we do those things. They provide structure and security, and they reference those when they're helping their own students. It's neat to see
Taking that leadership
taking
role.
that leadership role.
Yeah.
It's really kind of like magical almost, unleashing the goodness in people.
And that's called at St. Clair High
It's
School.
peer-to-peer or links. We
Link,
use
yeah.
the two
Yep.
terms intermittently.
So that people can, when they hear that, they know what you're talking
More
about.
often than not, it's called the Lynx Program. You'll
The-
see some T-shirts with Lynx, L-I-N-K-S on it.
Linking each other together. And one of the things I think is neat about that program is the fact that those students create the bond, the friendship or the partnership. And so then when they see each other in the hallways, they're saying hi to each other, and it's creating that warm atmosphere that enhances the learning.
Yeah, it's real. It's organic. I mean, the structure, obviously, we put in place to make the machine work. But once it's in motion, everything else is real. The connections are real. The support is real. The concern is real. It's been a real blessing for us.
That's awesome. What is it? What are we calling?
We have the freshman mentoring program, which all our freshmen are partaking in. And then we have the upperclassmen that go in during seminar and do team building activities with them, acclimate them to the culture of the building, have them check their grades, make sure they're passing, offer help if they need it. So it's a culmination of activities. But as Ron said, they've really bought into it, and they've become my kids, so that's neat to hear.
Yeah. Oh boy, that
From
I like
mentors.
hearing that. I
Yes.
like hearing that when they're supporting each other in their learning. Is there anything else that you would like to show? Who does St. Clair have tonight? Who are we playing?
New Haven will
New
be on
Haven.
Friday.
Okay.
New Haven will be on Friday, and both of our teams are playing solidly. Both teams should be making it into the playoffs.
Yep.
In fact, we're both expecting to host.
Next week.
I mean, if everything goes as planned, so it's going to be busy at both high schools and at East China Stadium for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
It is very exciting.
Yeah, we want to extend the football season as long
We
as
do.
we can.
Community likes it, the kids like it, and it's the payoff for the hard work.
Yeah, and it's fun to see them all down there at the stadium. Is there anything else that you would like to share with what's going on at
I mean,
both high schools?
October literally is the
Yes.
busiest month. I mean, both
Yep.
of our buildings had PSAT testing last week, which again is a huge undertaking. We'll get scores back in a couple weeks. It'll be like early November. And both of us will do scores backs with our students. And we want our kids to be prepared for the SAT in the spring. And that's the primary reason for doing
In which
that.
they take in their 11th grade year.
Correct.
The PSAT would be their 9th year in their
What
10th
we-
grade year.
But what we just did in the fall, again, is our 11th grade. Our 11th
Yep.
graders take it in the fall,
Yep.
kind of as a warm-up. And it's also a qualifier for the NMSQT
MMSQT.
scholarship.
Yep. The Michigan, or the Merit Scholarship.
Merit Scholarship, excuse me. We both had Manufacturing Day. Mine at St. Clair High School is just finished up, and yours is
Mine
just coming around.
Mine takes place Friday. Our kids are traveling to PTM out on
That's
King
a
Road.
good
So-
visit, yeah.
So that's for all 10th graders in the county. They all get to participate in that.
And we've, again, it's wonderful that the manufacturing community is willing to have high school-aged kids come in because, people have pixtures in their heads of what kids look like. And every single year, it's a positive experience. We had 3 new locations, ZF, Axle, BTM, and then BioPro, which is an interesting, it's a manufacturing site in Port Huron that makes artificial joints. It goes back to Dr.
neat.
Tomlin's clinic from, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Anyway, the trips, lots of moving parts, buses, schedules, chaperones.
And our St. Clair County RISA is the one that coordinates
Yes,
that for
they're
us, so
the
we're
ini-
very appreciative of that.
They're the initial
Yep.
contact person.
Yep.
And when the kids come back, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. Certainly eye-opening for them.
Yes, I've taken the tour at PTM a couple times, and it's surprising, I think, for adults and for students when they go through a manufacturing facility. It does not look, you talked about pictures in your head, it does not look like what you think it will, and the variety of jobs and opportunities for careers in the manufacturing field are large, and it's great that we get to have our kids walk through and see exactly. And I think that the corporations have a good time with it too.
Certainly.
Showcasing what they have to offer and what they do, and getting those kids through there. So we appreciate our RESA supporting that
And next to
initiative.
health, manufacturing is the biggest growth market right now for jobs for young people and people of all ages. It's a boom time. So
Yeah, well, I sure do appreciate all that you do for our 9th through 12th graders at St. Clair High School and Marine City High School. Two amazing schools, and you guys work very, very hard at making those opportunities happen. But I'm going to ask you now to switch hats a little bit. And I know you're not going to be able to totally take off your principal hat, but you both have served on strategic planning committees last year and this year on the bond steering committee for East China School District. And I wanted to ask you, through this process, what has been the most surprising thing that we've discovered or talked about, even as far back as last year when we were in the strategic planning process? As you're learning the information about the district and uncovering different things, what is most surprising to you? I can share, as while you're thinking about that. For me, as I've gone through the records and looked at what East China has done over the years, is what a wonderful job they have done continuing to offer opportunities, like all the ones that you two both outlined, but keeping their expenditures and their outlay close to what they were bringing in. East China has done a wonderful job keeping up the buildings that we have and the facilities that we have to the best of their ability to do so. And I think that says a lot about the pride. I mean, most of us here went through East China School District, or our children are going through East China District or have gone through, and we take a lot of pride in how things look and the opportunities we offer, because the numbers that I get to see and analyze, they've gone down. The revenue has drastically decreased, but we continue to offer a high level of opportunities. And with our high schools being number 1 and number 2 in the county, we continue to do that with less and less resources. So that was I don't know if surprising is the right word, but
it's affirming, if nothing else.
It certainly was, of all the hard work that everybody is doing. So was there anything that you would like to surprising to you or through this process?
I think the sheer number of students that we've lost over the last 10, 15 years was an eye-opener. I mean, 2,000, almost 2,000 down is staggering.
It is staggering. It's the size of some districts, that we've lost, and it's happened in little increments. So each year, okay, we've lost maybe a few this year and a few next year, and it's just happened since 2001. Every single year we've been down students, and now we're at the point where our largest graduating classes, our largest classes are in the middle school and high school. And so each year we graduate about 100 more students than we are bringing in for kindergarten. And so now it's getting more and more difficult to offer all that we want to offer as we get that much smaller. So, but we've had we've had one community engagement session last week, Wednesday, and you were both there, and then we have one coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah. On the 18th.
On the 18th. And those, I think, have been wonderful.
It's nice to see the sheer number of people. You want people to be interested.
Yes.
I mean, whatever thoughts they are bringing into the meeting, you want them there. Because the worst thing is for somebody to be sitting on the outside not having their answers or their concerns addressed.
Right.
And getting the information. So really, it's been a tremendous experience.
Yes. I really enjoyed the process so far, and I enjoyed the most fun has been the community engagement session, because we've worked together for quite a while, a year and a half, over these different numbers and different ideas and goals that we're working toward, and to have a a whole nother set of people come in and talk about, well, have you thought about this? Or have we discovered or looked at this? And I thought that was fun and refreshing, and again, reaffirming that we have done some good work over the past couple of years to get us to where we are now. So I found the process to be great. The more input, the better. But is there anything more on the bond steering committee process?
I just think it's important if people have questions to make sure that they're asking, and asking us is the right thing to do. We've got the information and we're transparent. We want people to be accurately informed. People can make their own minds up, but we want them to have the best real information.
And if you didn't attend last week, the first hour is getting the information that we've acquired through the process.
Right.
And then the second session is like a breakout for the question and answer session.
In that, if you weren't able to attend, it is on the East China website. You can. There's a link there to watch the presentation, the first hour, and there's also a link if you're so inclined to watch the presentation on that declining enrollment that we talked about, the loss of 2,000 students over the past 17 years. So,
which people really, again, we want people to truly grasp what that means. We've been talking about declining enrollment, but at St. Clair High School, it looks the same, it looks the same, it looks the same. But we can see, if you go back to 2006, that's when St. Clair High School was its largest in terms of student population. So all those years, those 12 years, kids have been cycling through, and it doesn't look any different, except that every year after that, it's been on the downside. So now we can see in the very short horizon, oh my gosh, we're going to be down 100 kids here, or 50 kids here with every group that's coming up, and it'll look different.
yes.
It impacts what we're able to do, unfortunately.
And that's the other half of the conversation. We talk a lot about our aging buildings and the fact that we have less students, but when you have less students, the opportunities become harder to offer, and so we're at that tipping point where we need to make a good decision so that our future students can have all the opportunities that we've had and the students up to now have had. And I look forward to the conversations around that. I think it's important that we realize there's a lot of different variables that the Bond Steering Committee has looked at. The aging of our buildings, the aging of our technology, the loss of students, and the reason the loss of students gets talked about so much is because school districts are funded that way. Every student brings to us a foundation allowance, and so each time we are down in the number of students we're getting, our revenues are down. So, and it's dramatic. It is our main source of funding. So we have less bodies and less money to give opportunities with. Well, thank you.
Well, it's fun.
For being here. I'm looking forward to another great school year, great homecoming game.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
We're both probably going to head out to the parade this evening. My daughter's marching. So.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being here.
No, happy to.